Okay, I'm back as as I said that I would be. So from this point forward, the conversation for me is going to be Kamala Harris. Now, when I begin these types of readings, they become very complicated, and I talk myself into this other mental space, and it becomes this inner world, this inner universe. So, in order for us to do this properly, I always like to start with more or less setting up the landscape, what I'm going to talk about. And this is the way that readings can go. And I believe that's why people say, that the world is definitely infinite, because one person, there is a point of view, if the dimension, um, and it's apart from everybody else, all of the people in the world. So truly, regardless of who I would be reading, will read in the future, one person is a lot to channel. Um, and as today, I'm going to channel. Well, I'm going to put all my energy, my mental space, my words, into doing the astrological, exploring the matrices. Kamala Harris, Senator of California, Vice President elect to Joe Biden. Well, I know. Well, who's soon to be the president? Okay, so I have to tell you, I have felt really good since I actually decided to do this, since like around 10 o'clock, and that's Central Time. Oh my gosh, I don't know why I felt good about it. But I know one thing. This is the same feeling that I get when I'm super confident about what I'm doing, when I'm very sure. It's that feeling. So I have to say, for the sake of the reading, I am truly excited about that. So okay, I won't lay out the matrices. Rather, I will just lay out the formula, and I'll go piece by piece as far as I can go. And I think that we're going to do 15-minute increments, so I may have to do them in sections at a time, as opposed to, I just don't want to put an hour's worth of information. Rather, I rather will put what is I feel at this time, what is digestible. Okay. Whew. All right. So we're gonna need. Okay. Let me get. I lay them out, so this would be easy peasy. Okay. So this is the card I'm looking at. The Sun is Kamala's Sun is in Libra. Now I know everyone thought the same thing I was thinking. Who in the world is this Scorpio? And maybe in another universe she is, but no, she is. Well, her her sun is in the traditional Libra, but when we go into, I work with the 13 signs, and so I know that there's a big debate, but between what astrologies are and what they represent, who gets the 13 and who gets the original 12, who gets to keep the 12. So I believe it's an expression of the universe expansion. So this isn't the time. I don't think it's appropriate to integrate the 13, because I have particularly crafted it into Kamala Harris's chart when it is necessary, when that time comes, and so there will be a reason. So I'll be explaining how this expansion or or how the evolution of the stars represent Kamala well, because it should represent her. Evolving is an important factor in nature, in my opinion. And so I don't feel bad that we have we like our signs and stars they share with another astrological sign. So regardless of what that sign represents, but we'll get to that. But for now, let's just focus on what you would see if you were just to maybe just cast her chart just randomly today, without any study, the same as perhaps you would do for yourself. And so her sun is in her Libra. And the way that I'm reading today, in the sign for Cancer. So now I want to really dig in deep, because I have to say, Kamala has a very strong Scorpion presence in a lot of ways. I do believe that the sign for Scorpio could I believe would accent her very well. If she were to ask me personally, hey, what sign would represent, or signs would represent me best? I would say Sagittarius, but for the foremost, a nice Scorpio. I believe that she would do really well with someone who was a Scorpio, but I don't want to go into that reading, because if I do go into that reading of why, that's going to take over. So I have to say, I think she would have a very interesting life, and I think that she would perhaps have the ability to resonate with that statement. But I have not presented anything to back that up. Yes, it is ambiguous. So let's get back to this. This is what you can see with your eyes, hopefully, if I've got the angles right. So the sun is in Libra, the beautiful Justice card, which is very, very telling. The Chariot, a very powerful, high vibration, but in an impact way. It's like this is with an impact. So this has a lot to say right now. It means that Kamala Harris is going to be the one who in turn loves to demonstrate and loves to have the hands in the mixing bowl of authority, power, and this is going to work very well for her. And no one can ever say, well, this hasn't worked well for me in the past, other than the kinds of eyes, the turning eyes or attention that she has maybe begotten, or gotten from others, had gotten from others, received, the impressions perhaps that she's received from others. But she has a vibe about her that will allow for her to navigate through what the perception of what others are saying. So it's very difficult. Would have been difficult for anyone to tell Kamala no. Like, no, there is no, as in there's a block. No, there is not an exit. No, there is not an entrance, because she has a vibe where it's like she'll forget what you may think you already know about her. If you expressed it to her, she would just forget because she would seek to go in the directions for herself, and then therefore there are other doorways, other channels that she can go, other places that she can attend. She said she would be able to attend, to attest that there are other people, with ideas that share her ideas that complement her image, and maybe she complement theirs in some way. That there is a way, and she's up to face on these kinds of challenges. So this is how the sun in the Libra plays, generally. But see, there's three formulas. So this is one of the three. So I have to say this because I don't want it to be like a cliffhanger, and so that and you all have to like try to draw it out, like, as you go. I like to give all my answers up front, like this is so important. So remember, this the chariot represents the sign for Cancer, right? Now, what does that mean? So generally it means security. So um, she is definitely about security. And she actually will make for a fantastic VP to Joe Biden as president, because one thing that is for certain, she is definitely about security. And she tends to, in her world, she prefers to have the say. So I believe that she's going to treat this very much like her home. So the way that she will interact, engage in this world, even in the world of the politic, she is in her space. That is her aquarium. This is her home. And she will make her home perfectly. And when I say home, she's going to feel quite comfortable there, being as a VP, as I meant, taking from how I was speaking, the tone earlier in the video, as she's always known this is where she winds up, this is where she ends up. This is where she enters into this new realm, this new space. And there is a purpose, but a purpose that I'm not going to forget because I've written it down, but it's a long way off, and it doesn't make sense unless I go through these elements. So now, when I first thought about this, okay, so this is her signifier, the Queen of Swords, and you know that I've marked off Joe Biden's signature card as the King of Wands. I'll explain this later. I went ahead and pulled this one out, but there's no need to bring it up. But this right now, I'm just focusing on these two cards, these royal cards. Kamala Harris as the Queen of Swords and Joe Biden as the King of Wands. So this would be the VP, this would be the president, right? Okay, so what it means is that she has no problem stepping into this role as the VP. And when I first read it, because I said something to the effects of, Joe Biden would love to do all of this by himself because he's just not real sure where he stands in regards to how other people could help him. And then, of course, look how it turned out. I bet he received kinds of help that he didn't know where they were going to come from. That they should. And well, the reason why I said that way is because Kamala Harris steps into this space, and she does like to be solid. So if let's say that if he is just a little bit maybe unclear, she has this way that she's able to lay out the groundwork, and then so as he makes his way as he's making his way into the space or into the area, he's absolutely ready. He's grounded. So Kamala VP to Joe Biden's presidency will be a great grounder effect. He will feel very grounded. She's a very serious person in this space, very serious, and she likes her home, her house, secure. And that is exactly what she can provide, what she will provide. And I believe that's the reason why he selected her, which is very wise. Someone who gets him, someone who grounds him, and um, and where he feels like he's in a fixed way, in a fixed path. So this is going to be great because you will also be able to see him becoming maybe more. And I'm drawing from what people may have thought of him as his climb up as he's uncertain as any human being would be, as your candidate, and you're making your leaps and bounds. You're gonna see his what is it, his speak become more more focused. So you're going to see him relax, calm down in his demeanor, and deliver messages. And you're gonna say, where did this vibe come from? This new spirit come from? It is a spirit of straightforwardness, and the swords do represent communication, by the way. So he will have the ability to be a fantastic orator, and as which is I bet a different um, a different experience than what perhaps some audiences have experienced as he's moving his way in that direction. And so that's towards the presidency seat. So that's where this is coming from. So I just wanted to bring this together so that there's an understanding of where the stars are, how the stars are aligning. Let's go to, okay, so Mercury is also in Libra, which deals with communication, binding contracts. So if you're wondering what's going on now, I mean, pretty much this is um, the building of this. Um, uh, well, I would like to imagine that part of laying out that groundwork, she has to know everything. So everything that's going to help her feel more secure, so she can see what she is doing. She is definitely also an eagle. Like she's the lady with the eagle eye that wants to know every little thing, every little bit of exchange. Nothing gets past her, and she questions like every interaction. She will eye that. She will see it, even if it seems to go under the radar. She catches it. I know she's really good at reading things that are contractual. And of course, that would be in her skill sets. Um, so Mercury in Libra, and in the sign for Cancer. So she's getting ready to do exactly that. Um, I get the sense that she also has a goal. I'm drawing the word for massive results, um, massive growth. There's something she has some visions for economics as well. I didn't. I'm just now getting that. This is one of those things I didn't know, but I'm drawing in in the vibrations. There's something that she's going to do with economics that she has. I would say a vision for in regards to that, and she's saying like as like a major growth and development. That seems to be her cursor. That's her aim. um let's go to Neptune. I'm supposed to draw Neptune to Scorpio. Yeah, I've got it all laid out here. So Neptune and Scorpio. Now this is something things that she's been waiting for, things she's wanted to do for a very long time. And so she will have the ability to reconnect with what is humanity for her. she's gonna have that. She's gonna like connect with that. As they say, when you make it to the top, people become more of who they always were or are. For some that's bad. That's a bad thing, and for some it's a good thing. And I have a feeling that um, in what they call it, in spite of the travail of how she comes to this place in her in this time of her life as the VP. Um, she will she's going to reconnect with something of her of something of like in the beginning, something that she's wanted to do that may have is not necessarily lost, but had maybe she's had to create diversions to get people off the path, to keep maybe like to keep her program safe until the timing is right. And now there's not much in the way, so the timing perhaps right now is the right timing for her to have this expression be made manifest. So Neptune is represents some highly um, highly connected. Gosh, I don't want to give the last piece away, but there's a humanitarian thing, and I'm not going to give the word just yet. But I want to at least clear this the three dimensions for the three formulas. Um, the Neptune has a lot to do with something that she's been venting for quite some time in the place of dream. So it's something that's maybe perhaps maybe she's shared it with close ones, but or maybe she's kept it to herself. But now here she's saying, finally, here it is, and then it's going to express itself as finally there it is, because it's something that she may manifest. This card, of course, is the card for Scorpio, and there's that Scorpio edge that we all look for. Like, what is that about? That Scorpio edge, meaning there's always see it has the Neptune aspect to it, and when we talk about the Neptune aspect, that means highly psychic, but it also Neptune also is associated um, with I believe it's associated more so with when you start talking about the congregations of things like churches and things of that nature. Now you might say, well, what is that all of that? I think it has something to do with high places of like offices. That's what this represents. Places where ministry and intercession takes place, and you know a lot of that does on that floor of Congress up there. You know a lot of that. They pray and all that, and the Pope has come and visit them. I've seen in my lifetime. I've seen him visit Congress twice, at least twice. So um, on through television. So um, I think maybe I'm thinking of the House. Like, yeah, the House. Maybe I'm thinking about the House, but before Congress, something like that. So my point is this. The point is that the Neptune is tying it's himself to the Scorpio aspect, which has a lot to do with definitely living on the edge, and someone who's had to get pretty close, who's had to push to the ledge, and just say, keep going. I'll tell you when. Hold still. Hold still until I say a little further. And I bet she's maybe have tried this a few times, and people have, and then she's, unfortunately, perhaps have had to say, never mind, because the person, either whatever the fears or personal idea, of their own personal ideas and inventions, have backed out and said, no, I'm not going any further, not for you and not for myself. I'm not for anybody. But now she's at the place where she can finally walk that edge. And yes, it's perfectly fine. It's perfectly safe. she will be the one to do it. She'll be the one to make her way. But that's what this card represents. And Scorpio always represents um, power that once now that she has what they call received it, to to never lose it again. So there's a story with the Scorpio. Scorpio vibrations can become victims of their own craftiness, and the only way to not what saves them from becoming that a victim or going through that victimization or victim blaming process is that they don't surrender their power and authority to start. And so this is a time in which she will have the ability, well, she's in place to carry that torch and not drop it, not to lose that power, not to lose that authority. So that's what this represents. And she does now, so to speak, as I was mentioning before, perhaps others that were not properly aligned or not, maybe they just were not built for that place. Maybe the frequency, it worked for that frequency, but this is a different level now. We're in a different this is a different frequency. So perhaps whatever is going to be negotiated, contracted, etc., debated, discussed, perhaps I'm pretty sure it's going to work much differently, definitely on a much higher level in the scheme of things. So this is something that I made it a point to observe very carefully. That's what it states here. So this would not work well without me. I have to put in the final pieces. So Saturn, Aquarius in the house of Scorpio, and then this will end the first section. So Saturn, Aquarius into the Scorpio aspect, and I in my notes I say ties with taking, holding, then revolutionizing authority and power. So this is something from her past, something she's been working on for a very long time, but I believe in secret, keeping that aspect to herself, maybe only revealing parts till she accomplished having the entire cube, and now it now has in the possession this if we could say authority, power, and to revolutionize it. But power is is synonymous with her reading. So I'm going to stop right there, and this lays out the groundwork, and then I will build up, because I have a few other things to discuss, because now of course we got to correspond with the planets, with the stars, and we're going to find out what they represent, what they mean. So thank you for tuning into this particular session. This is session 1, I believe. Good evening. I'm Isaiah Isaac with Virgin Psychic. And also I have a website. My website that I am progressing is at www.virginpsychic.com. It is copyright with Isaiah Isaac. I do have a story of a backstory for Isaac. Isaiah is my first name. Isaiah Reed is my first and last, but my stage name is Isaac, and Isaac is my father's name, and I just had a lot of success with that particular stage name, so I decided to incorporate it, and it just became part of the copyright. So Isaiah Isaac is what you will hear me go by. I do have a toll-free number, and my number is 1-833-374-7222. It's not a well, it's not a 800 number where, you're getting automata and options, and such. Rather, it functions as any other number. It's just toll free. It's just a toll free number. And also it allows for anyone to, or my customers, future customers to incurrent as well, to call or text. So that means you would text me like any other number, like you would, if I gave you my cell phone number. You can also, of course, call. So the reason why I wanted to go through, assess that is because, this, like I said, this is my ad, and it just should be time stamped so that those who, I wanted to make this optional. So those who just want to just catch the video and things that I'm talking about, this should not interfere. I didn't want to put this in front of that. So, but just in case you were watching the video and you were curious, how can I get that but for myself? Well, this is one way. This is a fast and convenient way to do so. As I said, well, I will leave all this information here. And so very quickly, what I specialize in, I enjoy the tarot. And there are many forms of reading. And, particularly I enjoy reading, the tarot with the astrology, and what I also like to do is encourage my readings by doing different kinds of styles. So sometimes I may actually utilize more or less the Tree of Life spread, but nonetheless, when it comes to reading, I think that the main focus should be whoever I'm reading. So I want to put all my energy into that individual. And I like it when customers call rather than in person, because in person, you have to give the ambiance, it has to be nice and neat. But to be honest, when the phone calls come in, my cards are everywhere. I'm laying them out because people have different questions and their subject matter. So there could be 5 cards here, 6 cards here, 8 cards here, and they interlink is what I find, because one person's reading with the various cards, because to me it looks like reading an astrological chart. And things start to connect, and there are influences with other people who are in that person's life, or people who are coming in joining that person's life. So I just wanted to quickly share some of that. So obviously, I have a knack for cartomancy, and which I have evolved and cultivated into the tarot. When you have the tarot, you get both the cartomancy as well as the astrology, as well as the symbolisms, the dream symbolisms. So that's why I enjoy the tarot, and of course astrology. My psychic gifting also is claircognizance, which I'm using a lot lately because with the writing, and I'm still chipping away at my education so I can continue to grow. I'm also clairvoyant, but this year I've been assigned another, which is clairaudience. So I'm doing some things with that, and also I can sense that the psychic sensitivity is smell is also becoming incorporated. The mind reading comes, yes. By mediumship side, and my empathic side, they come in, and those two try to take over. But my main goal is, to focus on what's in front of me. But, sometimes people, they just, people have different needs, and those gifts, you know, the, I am not biased for any gift. If that gift needs to come through, I just find that particularly these two gifts are really breaking through, and that again, that's the mediumship side and the empathic side, and coming with the mind reading. Um, I can hear psychically. I mean, people asking about certain questions, and of course, as a professional, I keep my mouth shut unless they ask, or call the number or seek that information. I do not volunteer that information. I have lots of things that I really want to focus on myself. And plus, it's a lot of people. And, and of course, going through the human side of things, I prefer, that people seek this information out for themselves rather than me, try to push that on to people. So no, I don't want to do that. But so that's the reason why placing this in a side section, like an ad, gives you opportunity, and just to see what I'm doing. And this is raw. I'm not focused. I'm just talking, and I just laid out the cards in a sort of random way, so that you can get a fresh idea of what I'm attempting. I will do more of these, and we'll see how they go. I'm going to keep cultivating it, but I'll be sure to try and timestamp. So if you're not interested in this part, that's fine. Upcoming, I have. I should be ready to incorporate some of what I'm studying educational wise into the video, which I will timestamp as a part of the psychic video. So the psychic video portion is what you watched, what you should, hopefully you've watched earlier, like talking about a particular person and giving them a full read, or just studying their formula, see what they're about. And I enjoy doing that, and I've gotten really good feedback. So I'm getting some messaging, some comments and things of that nature. People wanting to know more. They want to watch. They want to see more of the video, and so they probably not even expecting this. So this is something that I'm sharing, and everyone, thank you so much. Have a beautiful evening, and I really hope to hear from you soon. If you still need a minute, yes, I have other videos coming up. Please just keep watching. Oh, I forgot to add like, like, and comment, and absolutely subscribe. Okay, so I'm back. I'm already observing my charts. Yes. Ooh, the lovers. That's nice. So I've already I've already laid out what I want to discuss. And as I did say that I would come back, and shortly means, well, I think it was a short amount of time, considering the topic, considering the level of information. I want to be absolutely accurate. That's all I care about. But I wanted to make sure that also that I bring integrity into the readings. That I said, or in discussion in the previous video, that I was going to talk, well, I am talking about Kamala Harris. Well, she is, says that she's Senator of California since 2017, and also Joe Biden's Vice President elect. Well, his pick, but now she is. It's confirmed that she is a vice president elect to the Joe Biden president elect. So that's interesting, considering. Which I did pin, and I will be sure to link that video below if you would care to sort of to check off markers. In the past, what I've expressed to clients, and they had asked, look, honestly, psychic, that'd be me. I speak to, let's say, 3-5 psychics within a month's time, and it varies on the information, and oftentimes, at least maybe 3 out of the 5 have contrasting information, or they have parts of information that is valid. How do I know which psychic is true? Well, for one, I like to keep notes. So it helps me to keep track of first of all, what I said, and also helps me to stay in line with the integrity of what's actually going on, because I can compare. Having taken notes, you can always look back and say, well, okay, so-and-so said, this psychic said this at this such date and time, and to what it spoke on to what question of mine, and the time, and where you found or located that individual, and then do that for the other however many you're going to choose to work with for that particular topic. And I say that whomever is closest to like in accuracy, and try to have it. I do not loosely say have an open mind. When I say have an open mind, it means even if the information is not what you want to hear, if that information is accurate, wouldn't you rather have the accurate information? And this is stating that you're probably going to be paying for those readings, for those psychics' time. So, and you want to also, because it's an investment into yourself, so you want to make the experience worth your time, so you don't have, you as the person seeking this information from a psychic do not have time to waste time. You don't have time to waste time. It's your time as well. So I that's why I say, if you would really try and look for definitive type of answers, and make sure that I didn't say correspondence to what you want to hear, as in, you know what truth means. You know what's really going on in your life better than they do, the psychics themselves. So it's very important for you to keep track of that. They're going to keep track of their experience with you at the time in which they're talking with you, whether if it's for 3 minutes, 5 minutes to an hour, but then it breaks. And psychics can say all day, well, I received information about you the other day, and I'm so happy you called today. And today as in you called them back into the future realm. But what I'm stating is that you should also keep track of what's being said to you. And then instead of saying, well, I didn't quite like hearing what you had to say, so I won't be working with you anymore, versus you would say, I did not like what you have to say. However, you're the only one out of the however many, you've gotten this information correct, and that's the only reason why I'm working with you. And so I have a whole new set of questions, or maybe an entirely different area. Now, granted, this does not mean that everything that each psychic, I'm not saying this kind of psychic, that kind of psychic is wrong, this psychic is best for this, but I am saying some psychics do have the tendency to lean towards very specific areas and it could be based on their personal experiences in life themselves or viewpoints about how the world in the consciousness works. They may do better in some areas because you have some psychics that are actually, I mean, they're high level intellectual types. I mean, because you have psychics from all across the realm. A lot of times you may hear of psychics from coming from creative spaces, like they were an artist before becoming spiritual. But they're all but remember, there are also psychics that have worked corporate jobs or held that corporate job. And were lawyers. So they have, those particular individuals have insight, that's what I'm saying, into certain areas that other psychics, hands down, will not possess the skill sets, even the ability, but but it doesn't undermine what that psychic can find for you. So it doesn't mean you have to go find a rocket science psychic, but it does mean that you should take the information that's given to you not so easily with a grain of salt, but I would imagine that you would know how much salt you put into the dish, if I could say it that way. So with that said, I am now prepared to for the delivery, and I am looking forward to reading. And it's interesting that the lovers. Why on earth am I getting the lovers at a time like this? Okay, well, here we go.